G'day guys, it's Dave from Backtrails Territory here. Going to be doing something a little bit different this afternoon. I'm out with a mate of mine. We're doing some hammock camping in a remote area in the territory in the top end. A little while back I did some natural cordage at home, and I posted some photos of it on the Bushcraft Oz site. Now one of the moderators there asked me if I wouldn't mind doing a quick demonstration on how to set up a basic tarp camp using only natural cordage and a basic tarp. So I've taken that on. I'll see how we go this afternoon. What I've got in front of me is a couple of very rudimentary tent pegs that I've carved out of some wood. A few different pieces of natural cordage made from local grasses and vines of various lengths. Now I'm not sure how these will go. The first lot, which was about 3 feet to 4 feet long, I made about a month and a half ago. So it's been kept inside. It could have deteriorated. I haven't just gone with the grass cordage. I've also made some out of natural vines, and a bit I'll grab in a minute was just made out of an old palm leaf. I've never done cordage out of a palm leaf before, but it worked. It's quite thick. So the idea is I'm going to set up a ridge line for the tarp using the long piece of grass cordage. I'll peg that down with those 2 pegs at the back, and I'll then send 2 guy poles off to peg into the ground. The tarp I'm using is just a basic ex-army poncho basher style. I'm not sure what this one is. A friend of mine from Europe who's ex-Swedish Army gave it to me, so it may be Swedish, but definitely looks like a European type. Basically the same as the Army poncho or a UK Army basher. So bear with us, we'll string up the cord line and see how we go. So here we've got the basic ridge line up. A lot of the green ants. Just make quite a nice citrus type tea. Not that I'll be drinking any of that tonight. But basic ridge line just goes from here to a paperbark tree on the other side. And the idea is in a minute the tarp's going to go over this, and then we'll start pegging it using the other types of cordage and see how we go. Now here we go with the basic frame up. We've got the ridge line, a little bit loose there, we'll tighten that up in a tick. And the back end of the tarp come basher, just with a couple of rudimentary pegs on each side just to peg it into place. So what we'll do now is go and tighten everything up. And then the plan is from each of the front corners to run a guy line down to another peg, basically just to give us that tarp shape. I apologise for the sun. We're filming just on last light here, so it's a horrendous glare, but this is really the only suitable spot in the area we've picked. Just a quick peek at the hammock camp behind us. Okay, so we've got the basic tarp up. Only issues we had were, as I said, some of this cordage was about a month and a half old, so it was quite dry, and I was a bit afraid if we tightened it right up as tight as it'd go, it was going to snap. But for what we're trying to do, which is basically just use natural cordage to hold up a tarp shelter, definitely succeeded. We're in the dry season in the territory here. It's mid-July, which means we're not going to get rained on, and all we're really after this for is for a bit of shade, or if there's possibly a heavy dew, to keep the dew off our equipment. But we've got the palm frond cordage here. So I'd never tried this before. I was just mucking around with it at home. I've got about 200 palm trees in my yard, so it's quite easy to get enough. And that was just straight off shredding the leaves off the fronds. That's holding up quite well. Ridge line is just grass, and we have used a bit of a vine braid there, just a bit of extra support there. We found that was pulling in a bit too much, but could extend this out at more of an angle as a bit more of a veranda if need be. There's certainly not where we are. We don't have, we're surrounded by bushland, we don't have really direct sunlight. As I said, we're not going to get rained on. So one of the reasons the moderator from our Bushcraft Oz asked me to do this was there's a bit of a misconception, if people want to go totally minimalist, that they can just go out in the bush with a basic tarp and a knife, think it's okay. They'll make their own cordage. Everything will be okay. Now it is cordage. It's not rocket science. I'm an absolute novice, but I sit at home for hours sometimes doing this. Issues I've found trying to get enough to set up a basic camp like this. Time-wise, several hours. And the other issue is, if you're like me, I have borderline osteoarthritis setting in. I find after about 20 minutes my hands start to hurt. I push through it. Basically I do 20 minutes to 30 minutes. Stop the process and go away, have a rest and come back and start again. So definitely doable. However, don't think that you're going to go out into the bush and in 10 to 20 minutes knock up a wonderful bush camp with cordage that's going to support a human weight. It's going to take a lot more effort than that. As I said, this one just out of using basic grass. I wouldn't call it load bearing. It's definitely, as you can see, it's going to hold up a tarp. It would probably hold up to a light rain, but I'd be a bit worried if it was a sort of a continuous heavy rain. With cordage made on the day, I find it tends to be obviously a bit stronger because it hasn't had a chance to dry out. But, if you've never tried it, I highly advise you to do it. It's definitely a primitive skill that's well worth knowing. I know a lot of people who've been doing bushcraft for some time who really have never had the need to try cordage, and when I demonstrate how easy it is, they get hooked into it as well. Like everything in bushcraft, just practice, practice, practice. There we go. Pack for this trip is my Plat Attack 72 hour, or otherwise known as the medium assault pack. Actually, it's probably surpasses my Kifaroo for comfort. It's the most comfortable pack I've ever worn. I'll probably do a bit of a review on that later. But here we are from the inside. As you can see, plenty of room for one person, 2 people if you're friendly. Definitely not the tautest tarp, but it's going to do the job and get us out of trouble. So as always people, thanks for watching and happy trails.